Hello and welcome back to Nearly Nerds. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologise. I've been gone for 2 weeks. Basically, I explained it in my last video, but I have been drained. I've started a new job. They are early mornings and I'm coming home and I'm just absolutely dead to the world. I am really struggling. So I finally got my routine in place. I finally feel a little bit more alive and I've actually got a list of videos that I want to get through to show you guys and talk to you guys, have some discussions and really get back into the swing of things, because it has been a very tiring 2 weeks and all I've thought about is getting back behind the camera and making some content. So I'm relieved to be here today, and on such a big day that it is, because it is September 20th, which means one thing, and actually it means two things. It's my dad's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dad. I wish you a very merry birthmas. But it is also the kickoff for Kai Cenat's Sekiro stream, which starts in just a few hours. And it is going to be quite a big thing, quite a big deal in the gaming community, I think. But I'm very curious about how it's going to go. It could go one of two ways. But I kind of wanted to have a little conversation with you guys to see whether or not he is a good enough gamer to take on this challenge, or whether or not it's going to eat him alive. And we're going to have a little look back at what he's been doing over the last few months, last few years, and really come together and figure out whether or not he's good enough for this challenge. And I think there's actually quite a clear answer for this, but we're going to go through and have a little look and see what we all think. So yeah, this is all about Kai Cenat's big Sekiro stream and really figuring out whether or not he is a good gamer or whether or not he's actually a bit of a rubbish one. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. So with Kai's gaming resume, there's actually a lot of games that kind of feed into his experiences that make him either a better player as a gamer or make him more of an attrition warrior, someone who's willing to just not give up. And he's played games like Red Dead Redemption 2, which is obviously more of a story-driven game, but he beat that in around 50 hours, which is the average time to complete that game. So he clearly has something that isn't missing. Like, he is a gamer at the end of the day. And there are other games that he's played, like Ghost of Tsushima, which he has completed again in pretty much the average time. I think the average time for Ghost of Tsushima is between 20 and 25 hours. He beat it in 26 hours, which, in all honesty, is pretty damn good, considering it isn't the easiest game. It isn't the hardest, but it is, again, also a bit of a challenge for someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So he clearly is a gamer and he clearly knows what he's doing, but he really stepped up the game when he took on the challenges like Elden Ring, and also when he took on Minecraft. But we'll get on to the Minecraft in just a moment. However, Elden Ring was clearly his biggest growth moment. Clearly his longest marathon for an actual game as well, because it went on for 167 hours, which is absolutely mental. And he really came up against some bosses that gave him a problem. And anyone who wasn't fighting fit and who was just ready to give up would have, really speaking, because it was an absolute war. Especially when he came up against Melania, there was times where I thought, yeah, maybe step away from this. But he didn't give up and he pushed on. And in all fairness, I think him fighting Melania without summons and without magic and coming out the other side, there's not many players that can compete with him now when it comes to Elden Ring. Obviously, you've got the FromSoft legends, the ones who have just played FromSoft for all their life and absolutely smashed through all of the FromSoft games. But I think when it comes to the average gamer, I think Kai Cenat is arguably levels ahead of the average gamer when it comes to Elden Ring. Specifically because of the amount of time that he was fighting Melania and the amount of time he put into the game, and the fact that he didn't use any of the shortcuts that were given to him. There are legitimate ways of playing the game. You can summon all you want, and you can use magic all you want. There is no illegitimate way to play Elden Ring. However, to do it without those things does make the game a lot more difficult. And to do it with that just sort of mindset that he was never going to give up, I really genuinely think that is probably the most impressive thing when it comes to a game and achievement that I've seen when it comes to someone like Kai Cenat and a lot of these streamers. A lot of these streamers are, I mean, there's a lot of great gamers out there, but the sheer not wanting to give up, I thought was really quite impressive. So I had to give him props. I was someone who'd completed the game before, so it meant that I could sit through the entire stream and just know what to expect and kind of know what he was doing and kind of see what he was doing wrong and see what he was doing right. And I saw huge growth. I saw him come into the game as a very average gamer and leave the game as just a warrior, to be honest with you, an absolute warrior. And that really showed, especially when he went into Shadow of the Erdtree, because the guy flew through it. I was playing it in the background, but obviously I had things to do, so I wasn't always playing it. But he was ahead of me pretty much the entire time, and I was getting annoyed because I wanted to be ahead of him so that I could sit back and watch his stream without getting any spoilers, but I couldn't, because every time I took some time away from it, he would then shoot off ahead, and all of a sudden it became a problem. So the Shadow of the Erdtree stream really showed me that he had learnt a lot. He had become a good gamer in that moment, and he really learned how to play a game like Elden Ring, and he really learned how to play the FromSoft way when it comes to Dark Souls to Elden Ring. Now, we have to be honest, Sekiro is extremely different from Elden Ring. Sekiro is a completely different challenge. However, you can play Elden Ring in the same style as Sekiro, in your own way, with parrying and trying to find the moments to attack and pounce. But really speaking, it is just a completely different ball game. And he didn't play it the way that Sekiro is played. And that's where we go on to talk about the Bloodborne stream. He didn't learn how to play Bloodborne because he played Bloodborne like you play Elden Ring. So he went into it with this mindset that he had to sort of dodge and stay back and keep his distance and wait for timing. And Bloodborne is played a very different way, in a sense that you're meant to be quite aggressive, so that once you lose health, you can gain health back by attacking. He didn't really put that into action. What he did do was get a lot of health vials and fill his health up that way, which I've got no argument against. Like I said in the Bloodborne video, I honestly don't care how he plays the game. At the end of the day, for me, it should always be about enjoying the game however you want to play it. And really speaking, the story and the lore of the world is the most important thing for me. And really enjoying the world of Bloodborne or Elden Ring or whatever. So personally, I don't care if that's how he's going to play it. But you can't do that with Sekiro. You have to learn how the game is played and play it how it is intended. Otherwise, it will eat you alive. Because you have to parry, you have to get in on the right timings, and these are things that are going to be really important for him to learn straight away. He has to get that in straight off the bat so that he can get through this game at a decent pace. Now, the average time to complete this game, and honestly, if you Google it, you'll also see the mad stuff that I've seen. But the average time is around 30 hours for a decent gamer. But there's a lot of people saying that there's people on the final boss for like 3 months. Obviously, not perpetually on the game for 3 months, but it's taken people 3 months. It's taken people a year and a half to complete this game. This could be either a real problem for Kai, or he's gonna steamroll it, and I'm very curious of how that's gonna go, because personally for me, and I think a lot of you would agree, when it came to things like his Minecraft stream, where it was two people, him and Speed, not him and Stream. When it came to Minecraft, he knew what he was doing, he knew the score, and to be honest with you, it started off with, I think, Speed was the problem. But because, obviously, time went on and he got a little bit more fed up, I think he then started playing into his own problems and became the problem in himself. So there's two ways to look at this. He's either going to go into this game and he's going to learn the way of Sekiro, and he's going to get the timing right, and he's going to start parrying, he's going to love it, and he's going to fly through it. Or he's not going to do that, and he's going to get very frustrated, and he's going to be his falling. And I personally don't think that's going to happen. If I'm being honest with you, I think this is one of those moments where everyone is expecting him to go into this as someone who's going to lose his marbles, and he's not going to enjoy it. And I think people are expecting the Bloodborne stream again. I think that is what is happening here. I think a lot of people are expecting him to find it too difficult. I think he's going to shock everyone, and I think he's going to do it pretty quickly. I don't think he's going to do it under 30 hours. Not a chance. I would argue, and I'm gonna put a timer on the line here. Okay, I'm gonna put a timer on the line, and I'm gonna put what I think he's gonna do it in, and I'm gonna say he's gonna do it in 75 hours. I think around double the time that would take an average gamer. I'm going to say around 75 hours is going to be this stream's length. I could be completely wrong, and he could be doing this game for the next 150 hours. But what we have to remember is there's no real DLC when it comes to Sekiro. It is pretty much just the story, and then they've added things later on which are, really speaking, unnecessary for the completion of the game. So there isn't any additional content that he needs to complete that is going to be really the things that hold him back and extend that time. It is just the base game, and I personally think he's going to actually take this challenge on and do quite well. So personally, when it comes to the argument of whether or not Kai Cenat is a good gamer, I'm gonna put it on the line and say he's a very good gamer. He is a very good gamer, and the reason for that is his time that he spent playing Elden Ring, his time that he put into that game, and the lack of using summons and magic, I think, really speaking, grew him as a gamer. I don't care about his Red Dead Redemption. I don't care about his Ghost of Tsushima. God, I hate saying that word. The Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima. Don't care about it. What I do care about is the games that, really speaking, hurt him the most and made him grow as a gamer. And I genuinely think that was Minecraft, and I think that was Elden Ring, especially Shadow of the Erdtree, because Shadow of the Erdtree, he flew through to around 31 hours. Then he met Radahn, and he was on Radahn for about 68 hours. Like, it was bad. Like, it got to the point where it was almost painful. But then they went and nerfed him recently, which is crazy to me. It is a video in itself, actually, because I want to talk to you guys about it, but we'll get into that another time. But yeah, he beat Radahn without any help. He also beat Mesmer really quite quickly in comparison to a lot of other people online who have really struggled with Mesmer and have really put him up against people like Melania. I really honestly think that he is a grown gamer. He is someone who can take a challenge and beat a challenge, and I'm giving him a lot of props when I say that he's going to beat Sekiro in around 75 hours. So when it comes to the question of whether or not he's a good gamer or whether or not he's a bad gamer, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say that he is a great gamer, and I really want to hear what you guys think in the comments. So write it down on the bottom. Let me know what you think. Let me know what timing you're going for when it comes to this stream, whether or not you think he's going to do it quickly, whether or not you think it's going to take absolutely ages. Let's get some times down there and see what everyone's kind of going for, and then see at the end of this who is actually right or who was the closest. But I'm going to leave it there. I actually quite respect Kai Cenat as a gamer. He really kind of showed the real grit that it requires to be someone who takes this very seriously, and very seriously. He takes it very seriously, and he did a great job, and I can't take it away from him, and I think he's really grown over the last few years, and I think personally he is arguably probably better at Elden Ring and games like that, because of his experience playing it as hard as he did without all of the help. And he's probably better than most of the average gamers out there. So, yeah, give him his props. That's what I'm going for. I've given my time what I think it's going to be in. And fingers crossed I'm right. I mean, I'd like it to go on for longer. It's more enjoyable to see the pain get harder and harder. But at the end of the day, I think I have enough respect for him to know that he's actually going to do this quite well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next one. Remember to like the video if you like the video, and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers!
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe?
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe? It'll help me and Natty continue to do the work that we're doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thanks!